It's a traditional Tuesday and welcome back. My name's Rob from The Boiler Business. And in keeping with our spooktacular Halloween themes and trends that are so around us towards the end of October as we head into busy season, we thought it might be a good time to talk about, reconnect and start asking questions about your business. And to help us do that, reference back to one of our favorite business development books by one of our favorite authors, Michalowicz, about the pumpkin plan. Now, you'll see us talking about this in many videos, in many sessions, and many pieces of development and training that we do. You'll be able to find all sorts of videos from Tommy in the groups about pumpkin plan and what it means to go pumpkin picking. But I just wanted to add a slant on that, I guess, and a bit of a refresher around it and challenge you that during this time, as you will be getting busier and you're heading into silly season, do you have an eye on your best pumpkins? Now, this sort of stuff is talked about across our training. It's talked about in our foundations first, it's talked about in our marketing and sales. Why? Because ultimately, you will have a best group of people. You will have a best pumpkin. Now, as it's Halloween, floating around my house are things like these, pumpkins. Now, we've got small ones, and we got medium ones, and we got big fat ones. However, what we're doing is spending, as business owners, probably the same amount of time on this pumpkin as we are this fat, juicy pumpkin. And as we get busy, as we're probably all running around very, very busy on all sorts of jobs currently, spending the same amount of time on little jobs as big jobs, do you ever take a step back to think about what they're actually giving you and your business, and what would happen if you simply said no to these little pumpkins to focus more on these big fat ones? We think there's great opportunities to find more time. We think there's great opportunities to find more profits. And we think there's a great opportunity to help you become more of a specialist who enjoys doing what they do and avoid that risk of talking to little medium pumpkin here or little small pumpkin here by just getting busy. Because we chase getting busy, and our pumpkin patch, which is our area that we work in, is just crowded with small, medium, old, big pumpkins. Do you ever take a step back and think, which are my best groups? Which ones are most likely going to develop into these big ones right here? Now, there's things changing in the industry as well. So as you can hopefully look moving forwards into heating season and have a real profitable one, do challenge yourself to think about what jobs you're taking. Are you giving the same amount of effort, energy, and time and resource to the small pumpkins as you are the big, juicy, profitable ones? Something worth looking at. But as the market evolves and as things happen, and as the government changes what's going to happen, and we head for carbon zero or net zero, as we call it, by 2050, what are you doing now in your patch, in your pumpkin patch? What can you do now to start planting seeds for the future? What do you want to be known for in 10 years' time, 15 years' time? Will you even be in the industry in 10 or 15 years' time? Important questions that you might want to start asking now, because as you need to upskill and position your business, if you're not actually going to be in the industry anymore, do you really need to do it? But for those who are just starting out, or those who will still be around in industry 10, 15 years' time, maybe sooner, as new builds start not having gas and people are looking more and more for alternative solutions to their heating, what can you do now? And it's all about trying to cultivate your pumpkin patch. So one day your seeds can turn into these. So you can then start to move away these smaller pumpkins and focus on the big boys in your pumpkin patch. But that comes with some gardening. So have you ever planted pumpkin seeds with a deliberate end goal? I know I want to specialize in this. Therefore, I know I'm going to have to position, market, build content, build processes and systems and sales processes around this seed to water it, nurture it, build reputation around it. So when people come and look at this seed, they see it emerging as an enormous pumpkin. Same goes for the future of the industry as well. In 10, 15 years' time, what seeds can you start to plant? What can you start helping your customers with today that starts to show you as an expert? Because if there is good profits to be had in alternative heat sources, what can you do now to make sure that you're at the front of the queue for when demand peaks? That goes for upskilling yourself. Of course, we have to do that. But also, what can the customer see of you doing this and positioning yourself? Because all well and good upskilling, I get that. But if that becomes the best kept secret and you're not actually sharing information, insights, knowledge, or your thoughts on it, when that demand does happen and does tip, how are they going to be able to find you? Do you ever look at your direction? Have you taken that step back to think, where am I going to be in 5, 10, 15 years? And then thought, how do I market myself to give me what I need to match my direction in 10 years' time? And have you ever taken a step back, even in the short term now, as you head into busy season? What are you doing now to make sure that your time is spent more so on these big pumpkins with good profits and happy customers versus these small and medium misshapen pumpkins that you might actually be spending far too much time on and are never going to do anything for you? What would happen if you just ignored them? If you started saying no to them to focus on the bigger prize? So, Pumpkin Plan, a fantastic book that we highly recommend from the same author of Profit First. What does it mean for you? Have you ever taken a step back to look at your patch? Which pumpkins are emerging? Or do you just go after everything instead of focusing on one or two core channels? Have a think. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Look back at the videos as well from Tommy talking about the pumpkin plan. There's a great discussion also going on in the group about the future of energy and the future of heating and where you guys will be focusing your efforts. But that has to come with a plan. And what are you going to do to take a step forwards? Even though we can't control what's going to happen, what are you going to do as a proactive step moving forwards? So my name's Rob from The Boiler Business. I hope that's been a bit of fun, but also some help for you. Make sure you're looking at your pumpkins and see what decisions you can make about your business that will help you build a business that's built to last, a profitable business that gives you more time back, more money, and ultimately puts you as the specialist for a defined group of people.